Welcome back, conscious parents. I'm so happy to be with you today. So yesterday, we began digging deep into our fears, and we began to observe how much of our parenting is underpinned by this fear and anxiety. Well, today, we're going to learn how to transform our fear into courage. Just the other day, one of my clients, Karen, she was telling me about an argument that she had with her daughter's best friend's mother because her daughter wasn't invited for that mother's child's birthday party. So in her desire to have her daughter be included in the party, out of fear that perhaps she would be unhappy if she wasn't, Karen overstepped her boundaries and began confronting that mother. And she created a rift with that mother over the girl not being invited for the birthday party. When her daughter discovered this, you can imagine she was extremely triggered and upset with her mother. Karen, she thought she was coming from a loving place, a caring place, by intervening on her daughter's behalf. What she didn't realize is that perhaps she was operating out of her own fear. And because of this, she inadvertently messed up her daughter's social situation even more. Not only can it be a source of disconnection between parent and child, but being a fearful parent can also lead to shaping a fearful child. The message Karen was sending to her daughter was that her daughter's sense of worth depended on being invited to this party, on belonging to this group, on fitting in. Actually, instead of transmitting the message that the daughter would be fine whether she was included in this group or not, Karen ended up giving the opposite message and creating a dependency within the daughter that she needed to belong to a group, needed to be invited to a party. You know, it's only when we as parents release our own need to belong or to fit in, and as it was in this case, and we surrender our own fears of the inevitable flows and fluxes and pains of life, only then will we be able to help our children navigate and embrace these pains with a resilience. It is when we base our sense of worth on the externals, when we desire to fit in and belong, then we teach our children to do the same. Again, it's out of our own fear that perhaps we won't be good enough. It is our own fear, ultimately, of suffering, of feeling the pains of life, and ultimately, of our own unworthiness that will end up creating the same fear and dependency in our children. So today, let's begin shifting this paradigm of fear. And rather than projecting these fears onto our children, let's change it. Let's connect to them deeply with a sense of empowerment, with a sense of worth, with a sense of courage. Let's help our children connect deeply with the as-isness of life, if they're invited or if they're not, if they fit in or they don't, with a sense of grounding, empowerment. And rather than helping them fix their life and solve every situation for them, let's show them that they're truly capable of engaging with life, whether life is solved or fixed or tidy or neat or not. But in order to do this, we know now that it all begins from us. We need to be comfortable with the taming of our own fears. If we haven't transformed our own fears into courage, how can we help our children do the same? When we have the courage to see our fears as they are, we will realize how most of these fears are constructed in our minds. Why? Because we are attached to how things should be. And we know that these labels of should, most of the time, come from our deep-rooted cultural conditioning, from our cultural archetypes. We've been taught how things should look. So we attach to this, and the more we attach, the more we suffer when things do not turn out as they should. I want you to notice most of your fears are geared on a potential threat in the future. They are typically not even occurring in the present moment. This is the irony of our fears. If we truly digest this fact that most of what we fear is something in the future, then we might realize how little we're actually living in the present moment. The future engenders anxiety, but living in the present, accepting the flow of the as is, engenders courage. When we enter a present moment engagement with life, right here, right now, accepting that life could somehow be in the up flow or in the down flow, then we enter a state of equanimity and courage. Present moment living challenges us to defy definitions of how things should be. You see, we can't preempt life, and this is what we've been trained to do. We've been conditioned, because we're so afraid of living in the discomfort of the unknown, we've been conditioned to plan for how things should turn out. We preempt life. We impose our agendas on life. And guess what? Life will not be controlled. We cannot control life to be planned out and mapped out in a very precise way, because life is full of the unknown, of the unpredictable. It just is what it is. So we are always planning for the what ifs, but we miss out on the what is. It is when we engage with the what isness of life, then we embrace courage, authenticity, and we are able to transcend our fear. So I know I am really driving home this point about fear and deconstructing how our cultural conditioning has really set us up as parents to just fall into the lap of fear all the time. I'm driving this point home because it's important for you to understand that it is through the taming of these fears, through the seeing through of the illusion of these fears, that you will be able to transcend them and therefore liberate your children. So for today's task, I'm going to invite you to write down your fearful thoughts today. Today, I want you to befriend your fearful thoughts. I want you to make a note if any thought comes up that's in the realm of fear. And the second thing I want you to do, so maybe in the next column, is write down if this fear-based thought is occurring for something in the present or something in the future. It is very important through mindfulness to become aware if our current thoughts are about future-based events or present events. So I need you to be mindful and do this work diligently. Ask yourself, what are these thoughts related to? Are you attaching to something that hasn't even occurred yet? As you become aware of how you're living in the future, and therefore allowing yourself to be riddled by fear, you will be able to more willingly discard those thoughts and choose the thoughts that allow you to live more presently and abundantly in the here and now. You've done amazing work today. Keep at it. Stay mindful. Be aware of your fear. Don't be afraid of your fear. We are becoming friends with it. And I will see you tomorrow.